Welcome back, everybody. This is the Popper J, and today's video is Budget Elves. Last night, I worked on a deck that was Sultai Elves. This is Sultai Elves too, but that deck, with including the sideboard, was around 500. The main deck was somewhere around like 300. But this version, while getting rid of cards like Collected Company, Chord of Calling, and the expensive lands, is only $30. It's not going to be super competitive, but for a tribal deck at $30 in the Pioneer format, this will do. I think this is probably the best placed budget tribal deck in the format with iconic cards like Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, and lords like Elvish Clancaller and Dwynen? Yeah. So let's get into this. If you already watched the other video, you already know most of the deck. If you haven't, you can go down and click in the description, and I will have it linked there, as well as this deck. And here we go. Elvish Mystic adds mana. Llanowar Elves adds mana. Dwyn's Elite creates 2 elves. We want a big board of elves. That's how tribal decks work. And for 2 mana, if you get 3 power out of it, that is a good deal in a stompy way as well. Elvish Clancaller buffs up all your elves. If you already had played a Dwyn's Elite, that's adding 3 power for 2 mana again, but it also makes these a 3/3 and a 2/2, and that's just really good. Elvish Visionary enters the battlefield and draws you a card. Although it's only a 1/1, it replaces itself and kind of helps us if we're about to get board wiped or if it gets killed. It already replaced itself, so it's good in that aspect. Also, if you have the Clan Caller already down, it's already a 2/2, and the more creatures we got on the battlefield, the better our lords become. Mirror Image is a great card. It can come down as a Clan Caller. It can come down as an Elite and make more creatures. If you need more mana ramp, it can come down as a Llanowar Elves. You probably won't need it as a Llanowar Elves, but if you want it as a Llanowar Elves, you can have it as a Llanowar Elves. You can have it come down as a Reclamation Sage, and then it can destroy an artifact or an enchantment against stuff like Smuggler's Copter, and then Heart of Kiran, as well as the enchantments that blue-white controls to remove creatures. A Reclamation Sage is really worth it, although it's a 3 mana 2/1. Only as a one of will allow us to search up with cards like Neoform. It's worth it to have in the main deck. I don't have a sideboard here due to the fact that not only would they bump up the price of it, but it's always going to vary anyways. Shaman of the Pact. This is the best card in the deck. It will come down. It will usually deal 3 to 5 damage if you have a good enough board state. Alone, it deals 1 damage to your opponent. It's a 3/2. It dies of shocks, but that's okay. When it comes down, it will already get its value out of it anyways. Especially if you already did a Dwyn's Elite and an Elvish Mystic. That's 4 power or 4 creatures. It's already going to deal 4 damage to them, and it's a okay body anyways. You can mirror image it and get another version of it. You can Neoform for it, getting it again. This is basically the best card you want to get in the deck. Having a hand full of like 2 of these and 2 of these while having like Elvish Mystic and 2 lands is amazing. As long as they're not interacting with you much, which I mean, this is Pioneer, they're going to interact with you a bit, but I mean, it's amazing. Dwyn, not only is it a lord with reach, but it also gains you some life. So if you're going up against like burn and you know they're out of burn spells or removal spells in their hand, you can Neoform, get rid of like a Reclamation Sage, get it out. Now all your elves are bigger, and when you go ahead and swing with it, you're going to start gaining some life. Poison Tip Archer is going to protect us from board wipes. And not only will it protect us from board wipes, but it will help us in combat. So no matter what, it's going to come down, and when you swing in, they're either going to block it, and they're going to lose a creature, and you're going to kill this, and whatever else dies, and they're going to take a whole bunch of damage, or they're just going to start letting your stuff through, which is what you want anyways. It's a great blocker due to the fact that you're going to want to leave it back anyways in combat, and then if they swing with their 6/6, they're going to lose it, and then they're going to take a damage as well. Neoform, it's just going to allow us to get any of the creatures we want. It's only sorcery speed, but we already know Neoform is a great card, especially if we have like an Elvish Visionary. We can Neoform the Elvish Visionary. We already got the card draw off of it anyways. We go ahead and we can grab a Shaman of the Pack, deal the damage. The good thing about the deck is as long as you have a Shaman of the Pack on the battlefield, most of the cards that you draw will help you get a Shaman of the Pact or something else. Like Mirror Image will come down as a Shaman of the Pact. Neoform can get rid of any of the 2 drops and grab you a Shaman of the Pact. and that will allow you to win games that are clogged up by board state. Another thing to note is Poison Tip Archer. Whenever another creature any creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Because you're sacrificing the creature, it dies. This will trigger this. Driven to Despair. This is my chosen finisher for the deck. Let's say you have 4 creatures on the battlefield with 4 mana. You can go ahead and do both of these modes. They have 2 creatures. Let's say they decide to block one of your creatures with both their creatures because that has Menace. They're going to end up discarding 3 cards, and you're going to end up drawing 3 cards. And at that point, you just kind of win the game. I mean, you still have a couple creatures on the battlefield. You just drew a whole bunch of cards. They discarded a whole bunch of cards. And not only that, but without Collected Company, this deck will not have a way to come back. So having a way to draw a whole bunch of cards off of the creatures you have on the battlefield is going to be worth it, because your opponents, when they're holding up those board wipes that are like 5 mana anyways, they are going to be waiting for you to put all your value on the battlefield. And with Driven to Despair, you're going to be able to not have to throw all your value onto the battlefield. Make sure you play this at a good time. Don't wait till they're already ready to use a board wipe. Do it the turn before they're going to board wipe, because then it'll just wipe them out of the game. Because let's say they have 4 cards in hand, they have a board wipe in there. When you go ahead and swing and make all this happen, they are going to either have to discard the board wipe, or they're going to have to discard all their other cards, which means they have no win condition on the battlefield now, and you're going to draw a whole bunch of cards. So when you do get board wiped, you have cards in hand. It's a really good card. It's really undervalued at less than $1 each. It's amazing. Lands. So this is where the deck gets really budget, due to the fact that lands in blue and sultai, especially like in Pioneer, because Pioneer is becoming really expensive. Lands are super expensive. So we run 6 forests, 3 Jungle Hallows, a tapped life gain land, 4 Llanowar Wastes, 3 Thornwood Falls, and 4 Yavimaya Coast. If you want to get rid of stuff like Neoform and Mirror Image, you can and go strictly blue-black, and not blue-black, green-black, and then you'll have only get to play like just some black sources, maybe even a swamp in there, and you'll be okay. But I really like the idea of Sultai Elves due to the fact that it opens up stuff like Neoform and Mirror Image. If you are interested in a more expensive version of the deck, there will be a link to my video and a link to MTG Goldfish link in the description. This has been the Popper J MTG. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more of my content, you can go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.